You know, probably one of the hardest things of a beautiful moment, and you've probably had beautiful moments in your life. I mean, the moment is a wonder, but it's what comes after the beautiful moment. When life just kind of returns to the ordinary. So in our tradition, last week being, the Super Bowl of Christianity, Easter, in our historic tradition, that's kind of a beautiful moment. That's Sunday. But then our own lives reflect that. Then it's Tuesday, and our backs still hurt. We're still wondering if we paid the water bill. We still have an inbox or a text box that is just screaming the stress of our life. We just return after these beautiful moments. And this is how life goes. This is how spirituality goes. And what I love in our tradition, some of you are very familiar with the narrative of our tradition, the story of it in time. Some of you aren't. But in our tradition, what's amazing is after the beautiful moment, there is then Thomas. And you go, who is Thomas? And so after Jesus rises from the dead and Christianity has this oomph to begin, this beautiful moment, there is quickly then real life, and there is this real person that's kind of gotten, I think, maligned through history, doubting Thomas. And when, I used to be a conservative evangelical, and really when Thomas was talked about, it was always like his doubting was bad. And when Jesus comes, it's like, we're not supposed to doubt. We're supposed to believe. And I just don't see it that way. To me, it seems so historically beautiful that after this beautiful moment comes then this real person that just goes, I don't know. Because that's who we are. So I just want to show you a little passage before we go into communion together and just kind of set this up for us. After this awful moment in our tradition, the crucifixion, this beautiful moment that maybe Christ has risen, there is all this confusion, there is all this fear. The big hillside of 5,000 people who listen to the powerful teaching, that get the free lunch, that see the miracle and the card tricks, all of that has dissipated. And it's now just a handful. It's about 100, 120 people. And they are confused and they are frightened. And they are huddled together. And then in the following week, there starts to be these sightings of Jesus. And certain people start to see him and go, I think we've seen him. There's one beautiful moment where the fishermen who followed him return to their nets. And then all of a sudden they see Christ on the shore and he waves to them and Jesus cooks them breakfast. Just a beautiful, intimate scene of Christ cooking them breakfast. But there's one guy missing it all. And that's Thomas. So let me show you this. Although Thomas, the twin of one of the 12 disciples, he wasn't with the others when Jesus appeared. So they told him, we've seen him. We've seen the Lord. And so this is a kind of a major kind of FOMO. He just misses it. And even though they are all exuberant, confused, at times huddled away, they're going, you're not going to believe this. We've seen him. And then this is how he responds. But Thomas said, first, I must see the nail scars in his hands and touch them with my finger. I must put my hand where the spear went into his side. I won't be able to trust unless I do this. And I just go, oh, this is so beautiful, meaning it's so human. And you have to understand this guy, Thomas. He doesn't roll his eyes. He doesn't panic. He just goes, you know what? I'm going to need some proof. So much, I'm going to need to actually poke at it and touch at it. And I think this guy's gotten maligned over the history. I don't think he's being difficult at all. I think he's actually trying to protect something very tender in him. This tiny, battered place in him that's still going, could it be real? Could there be life like real? And so I see this going, I need proof. He's trying to hold on to something that's beautiful, but yet very fragile in him. So now fast forward a whole week later. A week later, the disciples were together again. This time, Thomas was with him. Now, Thomas had been missing. We don't know why. I don't know. Maybe Thomas was the guy who had to get the food for everybody and he missed it. Maybe Thomas was, I just need to go for a walk and figure this whole thing out. But now he's with them. And Jesus came in while the doors were still locked and stood in the middle of the group. He greeted his disciples and he said to Thomas, put your finger here and look at my hands. Put your hand into my side. Stop doubting. It's safe to trust. Thomas replied, you are my Lord, my God. Jesus said, Thomas, do you have trust because you've seen me? The people who can and have trust me, sorry, I'm having trouble reading this, trust in me without seeing me are the ones who are really, thank you, Jack, blessed. Now, let me just say this. It's okay. Some of you believe this happened. Some of you don't believe this happened. It's quite okay. All acceptable here. That's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is what a beautiful narrative part of a human experience in our tradition. These are part of the tradition that still keep me coming. Because it's super spiritual? No, because it's incredibly human. That he just goes, listen, I really want to be here. I do. I really want to be part of this. I think I really want to trust and believe. But I need some help here. And Jesus comes in and doesn't go, whoa, finally the guy, finally you're here. Are you going to believe now? Or disappointed, Thomas, that you haven't? Jesus comes and gives him what he needs. And I just think it's a wonderful part of our story. It's why I love Thomas. Because he carries both longing and skepticism. Don't you? Listen, I'm the minister here. And some days I wake up and go, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's something wrong with my faith. I trust. It's the human part to be searching after it. And what I love about Thomas is he's that way. And then in our narrative, if we really look, we have in our Christian narrative, we have our God show up with scars, not perfection, not demanding, are you going to believe now? God himself shows up with scars. And goes, here, touch. You can touch it. Now, what's interesting about this passage, Thomas doesn't need to. We don't see then go, and then so Thomas poked at him and touched. He doesn't do it. He's engulfed and now embodied with presence. Presence. This is why I said last week, and I often say, let's not keep the resurrection as something stuck in the past. I don't know if it happened or it didn't happen. That's not what I'm consumed with. What I experience and embodied is that God is rising in me now. When? When I experience presence. And I just love how Christ appears here. He doesn't shame Thomas. He shows up with what he needs. You need something, Thomas. You need something different than the other 11. And so God shows up in his scars and says, I'm here to give that to you. And so we're going to go into communion. And so I wrote some things down that I actually want to read to you when you come to the table. And by the way, I love that it's all throughout, meaning this is embodied. Your movement is embodied. But let me read. So today, when you come to the table, you come not because we, even in our faith, are triumphant. As I said last week, we, in our Christian spirituality here at Spero Dei, we just don't hold to a God who is trying to win everything. We hold to a God who is trying to love and include everything.